Thank you for joining these free coaching sessions, which are offered equally to our PMP training participants, especially those who have joined our training in the past few months or few years. And in particular, those who have not, learned using the 3x1 technique, which we have been using in our training since June, and that the technique 3x1 saves people a lot of time, and they don't need to do a training on a side and coaching on another side, because actually they're mixed in a very effective and efficient way, in a very smooth way. So actually, this is the last coaching we will have for 2024. And starting 2025, actually, we will be having trimestrial sessions. We will call them the last touches, okay, our last preparations. Because this last session we will have in 2024 coaching session, I mean, not the training, but the coaching session, we decided to have it fully in English language because it was publicly shared. So probably people from all around the world will join. So far, we have almost 60 people present with us in today's coaching. So coaching is not the training. No, coaching is different content. Coaching is, what we will see in these 4 sessions of coaching. So we will have these 4 sessions of coaching, every Sunday from 3rd of November to 24th of November, 2024. So every Sunday at 2 p.m. GMT +1 Tunisia time, we'll be having these coaching sessions. These are considered as last touches, last preparations for anyone who will be taking their exams during November or December, actually. Okay, we don't know yet if there will be any changes in regards to the exam content outline, ECO, in 2025, or the PMBOK. So we don't have any information yet, but if there will be any changes, of course, we'll make all the necessary updates for the training content, presentation, and also all the practice exams and all the material that we share usually in our training. Okay, so these are coaching sessions to help you prepare for your exam if you're willing or intending to take your exam in November or in December. Okay, and of course the content might be valid for 2025 in case there will be no changes to the ECO or the PMBOK. Okay, so what we will see actually in these 4 coaching sessions, and as I said, these are not training sessions, these are coaching sessions. Okay, so we will be looking at PMI mindset, because actually I think this is really one of the most important and key parts of this coaching, because let me say something really important now. A lot of our PMP training, they practice, the mock exams which we provide with them. We have tens of mock exams in English and French, and in French, actually. And a lot of the questions in our mock exams, they are very similar to the questions in the real PMP exam. And some of our students are really lucky that in their PMP exam, they get questions very similar to the ones we have in the mock exams. But some others, they don't actually get almost any questions similar in their PMP exam similar to the ones we have in the mock exams. But still they pass their exam, they succeed in the PMP exam. And the reason for that is because in our training and through the 3x1 technique, which we use in the teaching, we help them to have all the knowledge and all the techniques they need in order to be able to answer any possible question without the need, for seeing it before or for practicing it before. Because out of 180 questions, you will never be able to see all the 180 questions in one mock exam, or even in 10 mock exams, because PMI has got a bank of thousands and thousands of questions, and every day there are hundreds of people who take up the PMP exam. So PMI is ready to have different question set for for the participants. Of course, there are some questions that repeat across participants, but that's a small percentage of the exam questions. Most of the questions that you get on your PMP exam, actually they're not going to be similar to the ones sitting next to you in that test center, or even if you're taking that at home. So, but when we focus on, oh, actually I forgot something really important. Did I start recording? Oh yeah, I did. But when we focus on really understanding the PMI mindset, that will help you be able to answer all the questions that you will get in the exam without any hesitation and without any fear. So in these coaching sessions, we will be seeing the PMI mindset. We will be looking at some very important preparation tips. Also, we will be practicing some time management, especially when we will be doing mock questions, very important mock questions in the last two sessions, because the first two sessions we will try to finish all the tips and tricks, elimination techniques, etc. And the last two sessions we'll be practicing mock questions, very, very important mock questions that they're very similar to what you will see in your real PMP exam. And usually, those questions, they helped our students really be very well prepared and ready. Okay. These sessions, yes, they are recorded. We will be sharing the recordings on YouTube. Okay. We will not be sharing the presentation, but we will be sharing the videos so you can go back and watch them and take your notes, easily. All right. Also, in these coaching sessions, we'll be seeing tips and tricks per domain or per knowledge area. Okay. And of course, we'll be looking at the elimination techniques, drag and drop questions, the very typical ones, very similar to the ones that you can get in the real PMP exam. And of course, we'll be doing some practice questions, especially in the last two sessions, okay, out of these four sessions. Now, these coaching sessions will be every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tunisia time. And we will be having 2 breaks in between. So every 1 hour and 20 minutes, we'll be having a 10-minute break, okay? So in total, we will have 2 breaks of 20 minutes in total, all right? So sit tight, back a lot, prepare your pen and your paper and pencil and our pen and paper, and let's start, okay, with these coaching sessions. And I hope they will help you really to, succeed in your PMP exam, all right? All right, good. Now, who is supposed to join these coaching sessions? Actually, anyone who have finished their training, whether with us or with some other training companies. And also we open the door publicly and we offer the chance to anyone who would read the PMBOK 7 fully to join these coaching sessions, because if you've read the PMBOK 7 fully, that means you've learned a lot of project management, okay? And these coaching sessions will give you more hints, more ideas on how does the exam look like. Actually, it's a chance for you guys, it's a chance for you people to understand and know how does it look like in the real exam, what kind of mindset I should have, and then of course what kind of questions are there in the PMP exam, etc. So it's a chance for you guys to benefit. I mean, I'm talking about those ones who have not, undertaken the training, just the ones who have read fully the PMBOK 7. So at least you'll be able to, have a view or preview before you join any training later on. Okay. Now, when it comes to preparation tips. Okay. Now, if you have finished your training and you got your 35-hour certification, definitely I expect that you all have submitted your PMP applications on PMI website. If you have not done so yet, or it is still in process, we do have videos on our YouTube channel. Okay, you can go check those videos and you can follow the steps how to submit your PMP applications. It's actually pretty easy. We even help you by providing some sort of content that contains the project management tasks in waterfall projects, in Agile, in a hybrid. So you can, get inspired from all those tasks, add the project objectives, any outcome or output of the project, and submit your application. Of course, we do recommend that you put your address. If you're Tunisian, we recommend that you put your address in Tunisia. That will help you save around $180 on the PMP exam fees, because the PMP exam fees worldwide are $575. For Tunisians, it's $393. Okay, and it's similar for some of the developing countries such as Algeria, Egypt, and other countries. Okay, and you can still take the exam from wherever you are. Okay, if you're abroad, if you're in Tunisia, if you're in Africa, you can still take the exam wherever you want. Okay, because actually the discount is applicable on the passport. Okay, so it's based on the nationalities, right? Now, if you have finished the training, and let me tell you just in 1 minute, what do we do usually with our training participants in the PMP training course? Usually with our participants, especially with the 3x1 technique, which we have started using in the past 5 months, all right? Usually, when they join the session, the next day after the session, we send them the recordings of the session, and also we send them an email that contains the resume, okay, or the summary of each chapter along with the tips and tricks, and we recommend them to rewatch that session no later than 48 hours after the end of the session, because that will really help them remember what they've studied. I always recommend that the PMP training to be taken online. Why online? Because online sessions can be recorded, and in the PMP training we usually have around 300 techniques, processes, tools, artifacts, etc. So sometimes it will be hard for people who undertake the training on site, face to face, to remember everything. Sometimes a lot of people come to us who have joined some on-site training with other training companies, and they tell us that they were not able to capture everything. It's not the mistake of the trainer, actually, or the training company. No, they're doing a good job, but it's a lot of information, a lot of data. Okay, so that's why we really do recommend that you join one of the training available from a lot of different training companies online, because then most of those training companies who provide online training, they do record the sessions. Then you can review the session, take your notes on your own pace, and really that will help you memorize better and be better prepared. Okay, so really that's an important tip if you've not taken your training yet. All right, so now in regards to the preparation tips, now what we do recommend that you create your own study plan on your own pace, as I said, your own study schedule. Usually if you finished your training, whether with whoever training company, okay, usually it will take you around 1 to 2 months to be ready to sit for the exam. Okay, in those 1 to 2 months, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to spend between 1 and 2 hours daily. First of all, you need to review all the training content, the training presentation, or training material, because definitely it will, hours, it contains all the necessary information about different techniques, processes, practices, tools, steps in managing the project, the different project phases, different project approaches, methodologies, project life cycle, product life cycle, Agile, Scrum, hybrid, and all of that. It contains everything you need, and everything that you will see in the PMP exam. So you will need first to start by, going back to your course, review it, and take your own notes. Now, even if the trainer has provided you with their own notes, you need to take your own notes in your own way, in your own language, in your own manner. However you understand it, just write it down. Make sure that you will remember whatever you wrote, so then it sticks in your mind and you won't forget it. Okay, set realistic goals. Now, depends on your personal situation and your situation at work. Don't make a commitment. Don't set goals that you cannot commit to. All right. If you've got family, you've got children, if you're so busy at work, and you cannot make it in 1 month, then you probably can make it in 3 months. Okay, so better to make it one day soon than not to make it at all. Okay, so please set realistic goals. If you can do 1 hour a day, then do it. If you can do, make or do 2 hours a day, do it. Okay, but definitely you need to set realistic goals. Okay, and choose a specific day to sit for the exam. Now I know a lot of people have chosen now some special dates to sit for the exam, such as their daughter's birthday or their wedding anniversaries date, etc. So it's always nice to take the exam on that date, and you're sure you will make it. We're sure you will pass the exam. Okay, that's definitely guaranteed. Some people tend to choose some other date because they say, oh, if I fail, I don't want to spoil my day. A special day for me is my birthday or my wedding anniversary or whatever. But it's always a special. I can never forget the day when I passed my PMP exam. It was June 5th. 2012. It was a very special day for me, and I can never forget that day. How it was the whole day. I took the exam in Prague, in Czech Republic. I do remember still, the training center, everything. It's really very special day. It's like a wedding day. Really is. For me, it was as important as my wedding day, to be honest. I hope my wife doesn't doesn't hear me now. Okay, all right. As we said, you need to set some preparation milestones. For example, what kind of milestones I recommend? For example, you say, in the first month, I will finish reviewing the course material. Then next in the 2 weeks after the first month, I will be finishing, for example, 2 full mock exams using the time management techniques that we saw with Ben Hamouda, for example. Okay, and then in the last 2 weeks of the second month, I will be reviewing all those tips and tricks and taking another 2 full mock exams, and then I will be ready. For example, these are kind of milestones with clear dates, as you learned in the PMP course, okay, that you will be following and respecting towards achieving your goal. A lot of people take some time off, and I do recommend that. I personally, back in 2012, when I took my exam, I didn't really take some time off because at that time I was working all the time from home. We worked all the time remotely, but sort of I took 2 days. The last 2 days before my exam was on Wednesday. I remember that it was on Wednesday, so I spent Monday and Tuesday at home, not really busy with work, because I informed my colleagues that I'll be taking my PMP exam. But I was mainly focusing on the last preparations, and actually it didn't take me that long to prepare. The whole it took me just the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, a little bit because I was with my family. Then Monday and Tuesday, I spent almost 8 hours a day. So really it took me just 2 days, almost 2 days, to prepare for my PMP exam. But don't do like me, please. Don't follow me. Why is that? Because I was working at IBM, and IBM, we were applying project management exactly as PMI says, exactly by the book. We took the PMBOK. We always took the PMBOK, whether it's 1, 2, 3, whatever practices PMI was sharing, and we were applying them at work. So all the projects that I have managed were exactly by the book, according to PMI's PMBOK. Okay, so when I was preparing for my PMP exam for those 2 days, I just grabbed Rita's book. She was very famous back then. Her book was really famous, Rita Mulcahy. I just grabbed her book. I read few pages, or a lot of pages maybe, and I figured I really don't need to prepare that much, because I am applying that at my work, managing my projects. And this is what I recommend to you guys. If you have a chance to manage your projects, following all those techniques that we're learning in the PMP course, it will make your exam much easier, right? And remember, guys, commitment is really key. Now, if you will be able to take some time off, let's say a week before your exam, 2 weeks, that would be great. This is really going to be a very important achievement, a great achievement. It will help you a lot in your career, okay? But please be committed. Be committed and visualize your goal, and convince yourself that you're going to make it. We've provided you personally, we've provided you with all you need to pass the exam, to succeed, and you will make it. All right. Now, as we said, Get yourself familiar with the preparation material. Put your knowledge to the test. Now, there is a very important sentence that I wrote myself today morning. I put in this presentation. We will see it in a while when we reach the PMI mindset slides. Really, all the 180 questions in the PMP exam, they are based on real life scenarios, real project scenarios. There are no definition questions in the PMP exam. Not like in my case, 12 years ago, when I took my PMP exam, a lot of questions were about definitions, inputs, outputs. These were deleted. We don't consider them anymore for the PMP exam as questions. We do look at some of them, but not as intensively as we used to do 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Okay, so you really need to put your knowledge to the test. It will help you. What I tell my students in the PMP training from the first moment of the training, and usually our training they span over 4 to 8 weeks. I tell them, whatever we learn in the session, try to visualize or imagine how you would practice it or apply it in your projects or at work. Do your retrospective. So this way it will help to memorize all those techniques. On the other hand, it will make you imagine how all those techniques are applied in reality, and it will help you a lot in your PMP exam. Okay, you really need to practice minimum 2 full exams, really minimum. I know some people who studied with us who did not really complete any full mock exam. There are just this week probably 2 or 3 people among all the ones who have succeeded the exam. They haven't done almost any mock exams. They just they thought all the practice questions that we have in the training presentation, and in our training presentation we have almost 400 practice questions, because as we said, it's a 3-by-1 technique, so it mixes between the training content and the questions. So they were just self-sufficient with that, and they passed the exam. Yes, they passed. Okay, but still we do recommend that you practice minimum 2 full mock exams, and you put yourself in real exam conditions. So you set your timer, okay, your clock watch or your stopwatch. Actually, you set your timer or you stop. Better to set your timer. Okay, it goes backwards. So you set it on 3 hours and 50 minutes, and you will have a full mock exam of 180 questions, and then you check how much time is left for you, and whenever you finish 60 questions, you stop your timer, you take a 10-minute break, and then you go back and make sure you're alone, no one is interrupting you, no phone calls, etc. Really put yourself in real conditions. It will really help you. It will really help you. Okay. All right. So I hope these tips will help you. Study according to your style. You need to do less memorizing and more understanding. As I said, really, it's not about memorizing. You might need to memorize some formulas, even though in the exam there are not a lot of calculation questions, to be honest. Even all those formulas about the earned value and the cost performance index and schedule performance index and to complete performance index and all those formulas, you really don't need to memorize them. Actually, you need to understand more than memorize. And even if you need to memorize these formulas about the cost variance and schedule variance and all the other ones, they're pretty easy. Once you understand their meaning, they're pretty easy. And most of the questions, if you will ever get a question about earned value, it will be more about an interpretation. An interpretation question. There is just 2 other types of calculations you might get in the exam. One about the PERT, the triangular formula, okay, the beta distribution or the triangular PERT, and another one about the communication channels. How many communication channels are there in the exam? Now, most of our students, they mentioned that they got those questions in almost all the exams, okay, but the formulas about the earned value, not really. All right. surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people who can help you. Now, what I recommend usually to our students, because usually they're organized by groups. Okay, I tell them, try to study together. Every 2 to 3 people, or 4 people, they study together. They encourage each other. Continue the same pace that we used in our training. If it's once a week, if it's twice a week, etc. So you wouldn't lose the rhythm, and you stay focused. You stay enthusiastic about the exam. And you have that adrenaline high up in the sky. At least then you can pass your exam, right? Okay. Now we will talk also about whether you will take the exam at home or from home, or you will take it on site in one of the test centers. Just I've muted all the microphones because there is a big number of participants. It's almost 100, over 110 people so far, and I know that some people, they forget their microphones on or their cameras on. So what I just wanted to shut the microphones, turn them off, and the cameras, and I will be turning them on at the end of the session. Okay, at the end of the session, I will be turning the microphones on so you can ask your questions. Now, I just wanted to have the recording to be just clean and clear for you guys. So then, in case you would need it for revision, then you find a clear and clean version, okay, without any interruptions, any noises or background noises or parasite or etc. Okay, so now. Um, 24 hours before taking your exam, okay, prior to the exam day, I do recommend that you sleep early, that you don't drink much liquids, okay, so you don't need, on the exam day, you didn't find yourself, in necessity of going to the bathroom, because you'll be stressed, and with the stress you might suddenly feel like you need to go to the bathroom. Okay, have enough sleep, and pay attention to what you eat before your exam. Don't eat something that might cause some disturbance to you in the next day, or some aches, or some pains. For example, avoid some chili stuff or really cold stuff. Okay, and usually what I recommend to people, 24 hours before your exam, don't study. Don't study, don't take any mock exams. No. 24 hours before your exam, you just rely on your personal notes. Whatever you've written down by yourself on all those papers, just go through that, and don't, go back to the course anymore, or don't, do any mock exams. Just rely on your personal notes. That's just 24 hours before your exam. We will be talking also, now we will be talking about taking the exam online. Now, if you decide to take the exam online, that means at home, from, not from the test center, okay? PMI, or actually Pearson VUE. Pearson VUE is the partner company of PMI. They will send you an email to run a system test, okay? And in that system test will let you know if you have any software or any programs or any applications on your computer that are not permitted, and you will need to delete them to be able, to start on view. The software is called on view for taking the exam. Okay, we do recommend 2 or 3 technical things. Make sure, first of all, that you have really a powerful computer. You don't want, your computer to freeze in case it has small memory, for example. So really have a reliable device on which you will take the exam, a good webcam, really a clear webcam of good quality, and a reliable internet connection. Now, if you will be using your Wi-Fi, or be using the tethering from your mobile, if you'll be using the tethering, I mean the sharing, the internet sharing from your mobile, make sure that you set the option of forwarding all the incoming calls, so no one will be cutting your connection. So you forward all the calls, so you didn't receive any. Okay, and this way you will guarantee that you will have no internet connection, and always have a backup internet. Even if you'll be using your Wi-Fi, always have a backup. Now you need to have a quiet place. Okay, we recommend a small room, almost empty room, because they're very sensitive PMI about anything that could be at your hands reach. So you want to avoid that really. Almost empty walls, and of course you will need to show your passport. They will be asking you to take photos of the room. Will be taking the exam. And of course, I'm always talking in case you will be taking the exam at home. They will be asking you to take the photos of all the walls, all the corners of the room, and upload them on a link that they will share with you. Please don't try to cheat anyhow, because really they will be watching you all the time. They will be recording the whole session, and then they will be reviewing, and they will be they have software based on AI, and that software will figure out whether you were cheating, looking elsewhere, if you were listening to something. Don't try to whisper or speak out loud. So please don't, avoid all that. Okay. And get ready for all scenarios. All right. Now I really recommend taking the exam at home if it's the last solution, in case, just in case you don't have any mean of joining any test center. Just in that case, take the exam at home. Otherwise, and I will tell you why. Otherwise, take the exam, at a test center, because the application on view, okay, which is used for taking the exam, sometimes it freezes, sometimes it lags, sometimes it just blocks. Okay, and then what would you do? If it happens at a test center, they will always assume responsibility. Okay, it happened to several of our candidates. They took the exam at a test center. It didn't really, and in the middle of the exam, the application on view crashed, and they just admitted that is their mistake, and they allowed our students to retake the exam at another day with no cost. But the same situation happened to some of our students when they took the exam at home, online at home. And out of 4 people who had the application crashed, actually, only one person was lucky to get an acknowledgement from Pearson View, and they allowed them to retake the exam on Pearson View's own cost. The other 3 were not lucky. Okay, and Pearson View will say no, our system functioned very well. Probably it was a problem at your end, from your computer or your internet connection, or So I really recommend that you take the exam in a test center. Okay. All right. Again, if you're taking the exam at home, you need to be focusing all the time on the screen. Don't look around. Don't look up. Don't look down. Don't look sides. Okay. On the sides. Don't leave anything within your arm's reach. Yeah. All the time, stay with your proctor, the person who will be supervising you, with your proctor. Don't look around. Don't try to cheat anyhow. And don't answer fast, even if you know the question. Even if you've seen the question before, then don't answer fast, because, if you will be answering fast, PMI might, or the software of PMI might consider that as if somebody else was taking the exam instead of you, or maybe somebody is helping you. So please don't answer fast. Okay. We will talk about that in a while when we see the time management. Now, if you will be taking the exam in person, what we recommend is, first of all, you need, okay, how would you pick the test center? Now, after you pay for your PMP exam fees, PMI will ask you to schedule your exam, and on PMI's website you go next, scheduling. We do have videos about that in our YouTube channel, and you will be, or you can choose one of the test centers that are available, and you think you can reach them. Now, if you're in Tunisia, there are 2 test centers in the capital. If you are in France, in Germany, in Canada, in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, in any country, there are always test centers, and sometimes there are more than one test center in the city. and in more than one city, actually, okay? So in large countries such as Germany, Canada, United States, France, there are usually test centers in the main cities, all right? And then you can pick the one that is the most convenient to you or the closest, all right? Or sometimes people travel to different countries in case, for example, I know a guy who studied with us. He lives on the border between France and Switzerland, and for him it was closer to take the exam in Geneva, in Switzerland, than to travel to Paris or to Lyon. I think he said. I don't remember really the city exactly, but I know that he took the exam in Switzerland, as far as I remember. Okay. Okay, but we do recommend that if you have the chance, visit the test center beforehand. A lot of people visit the test center, 24 hours or even a few days before the test. So just they make sure that they can locate it. They, if they can see if there are any parking lots. They check the transportation, the traffic, etc. Okay. And when you go to the test center, bring your passport with you. You will need it, okay? Because you will always have to show an ID on which your name is written in Latin letters, okay? So these what we see here are Latin letters, okay? So French language is using Latin letters, English language the same, German language almost the same as well, all right? You don't need really to print out a copy of your registration email unless if you want to do it, if you feel comfortable doing it, then just do it. But if you will have it in your mobile, that's fine. Anyway, the test center, they've got a list of all the people that will take the exam that day. Usually they have a list few days in advance. They can get prepared. So they know, for example, for an entire week ahead, how many people will take the PMP exam each day. So they can get ready, okay? All right. You really need to have your passport with you. If you don't have your passport with you, at least have a colored copy and then call the test center in advance, inform them that you have a problem with your passport. You just have a copy. For example, if your passport is at an embassy because you've applied for a visa or it's, in the renewal process, just check with them. Maybe your driver's license will help, will be an acceptable replacement. Okay. All right. Good. Again, as we said, the day of the exam, avoid the last minute studying, dress comfortably. That's really important that you dress comfortably, whether it's summer, whether it's winter. Okay. Check if there are any specific dress codes in that test center. Avoid moving too much during the exam. The test center will be giving you some headphones for noise isolation. Okay. You can use those because you will not be alone in the test center. There will be other people with you in the room. I've checked some of the test centers in different countries, and yeah, you're not going to be alone. There will be always some people with you. So with those noise canceling headphones, you will not hear anything. All right. Don't look in any directions. Don't talk to yourself, and try to arrive at least 60 minutes early to your testing center. We recommend arriving 1 hour earlier, right? All right. Okay. These are basic tips. Okay. Now let's put this in just in a video, in a recording by itself before moving on to the